The Renaissance started with the rise in power and wealth of Italian bankers and merchants during the 15th and 16th centuries, becoming the transition period from the Middle Ages to modernity, including an effort to surpass classical antiquity. It was preceded by 13th century masters, including painter Giotto and poet Dante. It started in Florence, then spread throughout rich Italian city states and then much of Europe. In The Prince, Machiavelli proposed brutality and deception as keys to political success. This Florentine aristocrat claimed politics required treachery. It was viewed either as political reality, pragmatic insights to maintain power, or the ranting of a psychopath. Italian wealth needed to fund the Renaissance either through banking, trade, or connections using Machiavellian methods. 15th century Italian banker Cosimo de' Medici became Florence's ruthless rich autocrat, gathering wealth as a banker, including to the papacy, and intermarriage with other powerful families. He was a patron of the arts, architecture, and the Medici Library. He hired, among others, Donatello, Ghiberti, and Brunelleschi. Grandson Lorenzo de' Medici, modestly calling himself Lorenzo the Magnificent, became Florence's indirect ruler and major patron of the arts. Artists included Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, and Michelangelo, all Tuscans. The Italian city-states were merchant republics, allowing them to be both trading and intellectual crossroads. Merchants could bring ideas and technology, making the various cities textile and glass experts. This added advantage for accumulated wealth allowed more commissioned artistic projects, but there was more. The major problem had been the wealth and power generated by short-term exploitation at the expense of the downtrodden and the environment. Employing propaganda and magical forces had been part of the power game. The ruthless bankers embraced Machiavelli. Then they created what became the Renaissance for their own pleasure. Leonardo da Vinci was considered the greatest of the Renaissance men, a curious and resourceful polymath living into the 16th century. He learned his crafts of painter and sculptor in the workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio. Leonardo is known for the Mona Lisa, Last Supper, and his Vitruvian Man drawing. His famous notebooks showed his skill as an engineer, but seldom were these marvels constructed. There were plenty of rich Italian patrons and artists willing to do their bidding. The most famous was Michelangelo, and the story moves to Vatican City and the thuggery of multiple popes. Big names traveled to Rome. St. Peter's Basilica was started in 1506, and architects included Michelangelo and Bernini. The interior is vast, and it is the largest church in the world. Most famous in Vatican City is the Sistine Chapel with Michelangelo's frescoes. Trade throughout Western Europe flowed through the Seine, assisting in making France wealthy. French King Francis I invited Leonardo to France in 1516, and he arrived with 3 paintings now in the Louvre, including the Mona Lisa. Peter Paul Rubens was invited to France by Queen Marie de' Medici. Catherine de' Medici built the Tuileries Palace. Merchants in Belgium and the Netherlands were influenced by Italian traders through Bruges. Bruges became rich through textiles and trade, using their wealth for art, architecture, and culture. Dutch painters included Peter Bruegel, elder and younger, and Hieronymus Bosch. Rubens was a skilled Flemish painter, while Rembrandt was the most famous Dutch Golden Age painter. A bit late for the Renaissance, but hey, Rembrandt. The Renaissance migrated to England during the Tudor period, most famous or infamous for Henry VIII. Hans Holbein painted the classics of a very fat Henry with royal robes and a bunch of nervous wives. Elizabeth I was the survivor and proved to be a great queen, conveniently during the time of great English drama with the plays of Marlowe and Shakespeare. The Middle Ages and Renaissance had limited proto-mass production, but technical progress was made related to farming, sailing, and war. Future results included the Enlightenment, scientific revolution, and machinery moving towards the Industrial Revolution. Next time on Food History and Mystery.